Good afternoon. Welcome to Ata. This afternoon we're talking to Lillian Elias from Inuvialuit. And Lillian, welcome to Ata, and we'd like to have you share some of your stories with us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd just like to tell a little story about why I love my language so much today. The reason that I try to keep my language going as much as I could, right now I'm helping with terminology workshop, and I also help at the schools and teach night classes. Today I'm not teaching night classes right now, but during the winter we teach night classes twice a week. The reason for that is because I like to keep my grandparents and the people that left us long time ago, like my grandparents, parents, their parents. What I have in mind is to keep them alive. When I speak my language,
alive, yes.
Yeah, when I keep my language or speak my language, I feel as if they're listening to me, and I want to keep them alive with me, because it's the only time that I could feel as if they're with me. Even when I'm doing translations, if I'm doing translations for the people down south, sometimes I get a little bit, I can't understand what they're trying to put out. So what I do is, I think way back when we used to go down to Neakunak, Ukivik, when we would go down there, I remember the people gathering together. We used to have a feast, a potluck supper every day, a potluck dinner and potluck supper. Whatever the people want to bring, even a little dish of, maybe they have a little dish of rice, and that was the best thing that I used to like to eat. It's rice and raisins, and people used to bring a little bit of whatever they had. We didn't have lots then. But you know something? I never felt poor. I felt as if I was a rich child, because I had my grandparents, my parents, my aunties, my uncles all around me. I don't remember being all by myself. There was always somebody looking after me, that I didn't get hurt or didn't do anything that I would hurt myself with. So this is why I always bring my grandparents up. As old as I am, I still live with them. And my aunties and my uncles that have passed on, my relatives. And this is why I like to work with the language. And culture and tradition, if they need me for tradition and culture, I do that also. And I like traveling with the language symposium. I went to 4 of them this spring. There was 2 in Ottawa and 2 in Inuvialuit. I went to all 4 of them, and I really enjoyed it. What I like to do is, especially right now, we're doing terminology workshop, where from each community, they all came from Aklavik, Tak, Paulatak, and Olokaktok. They're all here, and when we get together, this is where how would you say it in Tenicton, if you get lifted up for, when you're, especially when you're working with the language. Sometimes you feel as if you're all alone. Mm-hmm. There's no one else out there to help you. But this is what I like about my language. This is why I keep working with it.
And you keep working with that language. And then how many of you right here now in the Western Arctic that's working with your language?
I could be the only one.
You could be the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's why I say that sometimes I feel as if I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
But
But you have some advisors.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
I had advisors before these, my grandparents, my parents, the people, Rosie, Albert, and all them. I still hold on to whatever they gave me to.
And that one word, we call it hospitality. How they say that one?
Hospitality.
Hospitality.
Bihoktuak.
Bihuktuak.
Bihoktuak Inuk.
Bihuktuak Inuk.
Yes. Inyong nun ikayoy hurak. Person that helps people.
Bihuktuak.
Yeah.
Do you have that recorded? Bihuktuak, right on. Good, that's good.
Bihoktuak Inyong nun.
Bihuktuak Inuit.
Or when you bring somebody in and you set the table and give them whatever they want to eat, or put out your best food.
Yeah, put out your best food. Yes.
We just had that a couple of Sundays ago, and it was really nice.
And that was, sometimes we used to put out the best food at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas time, that was a good time.
We're getting there to Christmas soon.
Yeah.
Only one more month away.
Yeah. And that's a good time that we used to have too, is Christmas time. I remember, I'll tell you a little bit about Christmas. That's what I was thinking of when I was going to tell stories about today. I remember my two aunties. Well, we lived together in Alatkasik. Alatkasik is where I was mostly brought up, because my father had a house right across my grandfather's house. There was my grandfather's house, Inuvialuit's house over here. My dad had his own house right here. So we were just right next door. We just run across it, no jackets, nothing on.
Inuvialuit's house, that was my nursery.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But it used to be so nice. I would go over there in the evenings when the boys would be playing. I was the only girl amongst all the boys. There was all of my Auntie Alak's boys. And William Allen was there, and Leonard, Nabu, and all of them with Anak Taurak. They played games. And my grandfather was their how you say it?
Referee.
Referee.
Yeah.
He was their referee sitting on the floor. They would look at my grandfather, and if they did something like, they went across knuckle hop on the floor, and his house was pretty big, pretty long, and they would knuckle hop, and he would watch them. If they did something wrong, or if they thought they did good, they look at my grandfather, and my grandfather would just nod his head, and they did good, and I would sit there. But at that time, in about October, November, that's when both of my aunties start sewing for Christmas. My mother would be sewing at home also. But I used to like to watch them. I used to like to watch them sewing. They would be sewing their, Christmas clothes for the kids and themselves. And I used to like their gawaks. That's what I'm wearing today, these kind of shoes. Oh, I just used to love the way they sewed their gawaks. Oh, in my mind, I used to wish, I wish I had those kind of gawaks. And I guess I really, when I grew up, when I grew older, when I really started sewing, that's all I ever do is make gawaks for myself. Now I have a pile of gawaks, all the kind of gawaks I want. But that was that's from just watching how they sewed. And I used to like the way they sew. And little things, they didn't have much.
Yeah.
They didn't have piles and piles of materials like I have today. Theirs was just a little bit here, a little bit there. And people, when they make their brand new covers, they would have to patch another piece under here that's different color, not the same as what they wear up here. But that was, but I knew that was survival. And that's where I learned how the people like that, like elders and people way long ago, the ones that lived before us, how they survived. There's a lot of things that they survived with. Today, when I think back now, it's, they had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. They never, I never heard anybody complaining, saying that, gee, I have no this, I don't have a skidoo like that. Or, like today. If somebody has a brand new skidoo and they're going to say, oh yeah, that's the kind of skidoo I need. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And or dogs.
Yeah. Or even if you go back to the time that when you guys used to travel with the dog teams, and maybe share some of those with us, as how you used to get from Alatkashik to Aklavik at Christmas time. And even after that, because things changed from that time that you were driving Kipolo until today that you're flying in an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Like how you travel today, you.
Yeah. Well, long ago we used to travel with dogs, and there used to be lots of us traveling from Alatkashik to Aklavik. And there was places that we stopped. And I used to like to stop in those places because we'd stop for tea or whatever they had to serve. They would serve us, and I used to like to stop at Inuvialuit when we closed it. We would stop at Slamu's, and sometimes we would stop at Nelly's father, Nelly Cornier.
Yeah, Nels
Vadam.
Yeah, Vadam, yeah.
Right there, we would go from Alatkashik to Salamius, and Salamius, at Salamius, we would have some tea, or people would have some tea, and us would play outside or warm up. And sometimes we'll go to Nels Vadam's and go to check the store, I guess, and look around in there. And then we would go to Inuvialuit, and Inuvialuit, when we reached Inuvialuit, they used to feed us, the best pancakes you ever had. I used to just love to eat her pancakes. It used to smell so good, even from the portage you could smell the pancakes.
Wow.
Ah, nice. And we would stop there, and it was cold. But I never felt cold. It was then, those days were 60 below, 50 below. It never was 20, 30 like today. It was cold, cold, cold. But still, us kids, I don't remember getting really cold while we were traveling. And I'm not the only kid, don't forget. There was Leonard, me, Nabu, Mary, Nabu, Valerie. Maybe my mom had Mary. There's all of us in a toboggan like this, and my mom and dad.
Yeah.
I remember we had only one dog team. Traveling, yeah. How they made enough room for all of us inside the blanket. Some of us would run beside the toboggan, like, sometimes they let the children run, and I guess there might have been too many of us there, but we used to ride together, right to Aklavik. And I think that's the first time I ever saw Santa and got my first doll.
Wow.
Instead of a rock, I had rocks for a doll.
Yeah.
A big rock. That was my doll all year long, all year round.
Yeah.
And I would take it down to whaling camp with me. That's my little doll. And when I went to Aklavik, got that little, I still could remember that doll had a red little dress, and it was so cute compared to my rock doll. And today, my goodness. Today it's too slow with dogs. I don't remember when was the last time I drove it. Maybe the last time I drove myself was when me and Esther Semler went to Napoyak by ourselves to, I forgot what Uncle Isaac wanted us to do. So we went to Napoyak by ourselves and oh, we had fun. We had fun because we had fast dogs and strong dogs. I don't remember how old I was. But that was good. Today we just fly. Few minutes there, few minutes trucks. My goodness, it's such a change today. But you know, the only time that I realized that how poor I was is when I came to Inuvik.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's you know, that's just to think of how some people tried, you know, when they tried to, I think I always go back to living in two different worlds. Two different worlds is trying to figure out poor and not poor.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty hard to do, but today everything is fast, huh?
Yeah. Well, from what you saw when you were a little girl in the Delta, growing up to what you see today, I mean, quite a bit of a change. Got it?
Yes, really.
You know, like that. You put that. When Harry used to put that generator on and put that light. Huh? That was.
We used to have light outside. I guess him and his brother made that generator. Dennis and Nakdok. They were really close. His Dennis and Nakdok's house wasn't very far from our place too. Just a walking distance, but they really worked closely together. And Saturdays is the day everybody worked. Everybody did their work. They got their ice. They made sure there's enough wood for tomorrow. Nobody, you couldn't lift a finger on Sunday. My grandfather's laws. And everybody had to have everything ready for Sunday. But when he said, gonna go check the fish net, we all get ready. We want to go check fish net because we're getting bored sitting around. Everybody went to check the fish net in the winter time. Boy, that was amazing. We didn't go with dogs either. We walked over to the
fish net, huh?
Yeah, it was quite a ways, but we all walked.
Yeah.
We had a good exercise.
Yeah, good.
I think that's why we didn't get sick often as we do today, is because we were so busy, busy, never sat still. I don't remember staying still very long because you either had to bring wood in or help to get ice, you know.
Yeah.
You had work to do every day.
Always work to do.
Yeah.
Or the dogs had to eat too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dogs had to eat too.
Yeah.
I still remember some of them.
Yeah. Boy, we had lots of dogs. Yes.
They're the ones that do some of the hardest work.
Yeah.
And then nowadays it's changed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, we don't have to worry about feeding dogs.
But you never really spent at Christmas time. You went to where?
A Clavik?
A Clavik, yeah. You never spent anybody. Nobody spent Christmas in the Delta. Any families or everybody
A
went
couple of times we had to spend Christmas out there. I think it's because we were a little bit bigger by then.
Okay, yeah.
So they couldn't take us all to Aklavik, so they got a sitter to be with us at home, and we would stay home.
Mm-hmm.
They call it bayuach, stay at home, and for your parents to come back, because you're expecting something from them if they come back.
Mm-hmm.
Food.
Fruit, yes. Fruit, yeah. Ashia.
Yeah.
Berries and that, yes.
Uh-huh. That's one thing my grandmother had. I never went without is ashiak.
Yeah.
She used to have these berries, and she used to bag everything. Berries, it would be all mixed. This bag, one bag would be all mixed with cranberries, akpiks, blueberries, blackberries, roots, quarak. I don't know, you could look at the dictionary for quarak. Anyways, all those things, she would put them in a whale stomach.
Yeah.
They used to make this whale stomach for, it's just like Ziploc bags today.
Inuvialuit Ziploc bag, extra large.
Yeah, extra large Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
And they used to make small little ones. They call it Inuvialuit. Inuvialuit was the neck part of it.
Yeah.
Small one, like this.
Yeah.
I guess she make those for special occasions, and she would always have fruit, nice berries to eat. I couldn't wait to eat berries when we eat at her house at Napuyak.
Mm-hmm.
People used to stop there to go by there just to visit and see them. They were so busy all the time. People used to stop there all the time. Go to Napuyak. They like to go to Napuyak and stop by her place. And that's where Semler had his house, his store too, not very far from them. So they used to go to store too. So they were busy all winter.
Trapping, hunting,
yes,
fishing.
Yes, everything. And people used to go by Alatkasik too to go caribou hunting, because the caribou hunting, they used to go down to what they call that place across the Aklavik side mountains. Anyways, that's where they used to go. Rabbits and caribou hunting.
Yeah. Kutaichurak?
Yeah, Kutaichurak, yeah. Kutaichurak, that's where they used to go. And or below Kutaichurak, they used to go rabbit hunting. They used to come by Alatkasik to go there. Hans Hansen used to go there most of the time because he liked to go by there, and my grandfather would used to like to go with him.
Yeah.
They used to travel together, so he would go with him. My grandfather used to drive his dogs even. I think he could barely walk. He was down like this, his back was down like this, walking like this to harness his dogs.
Yeah.
And still he used to, even with a cane, to get his dogs ready to go. And that Eileen Okpik, I remember her coming too. Same with her.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
Today, we get soft because where we live with nothing to do all the time.
Yeah. We're done. What else you could share with us before the time that you remember from being in the Delta, and especially your language? How did you?
How I kept it?
How did you keep it? Because you went to school too for a while, right?
I went to residential school. The first year I went to school, That my grandmother never said anything. I used to go down to the whaling camp with them every summer. 2 months of the year, I would go down whaling camp with them. And when I go down to whaling camp, there's no word in English. Because all my aunties, my grandfather, my parents, whoever was around there would speak our O'Magamiutan language. And I've never, not one word in English. That's what kept me strong too, that part 2 months out of the year. And one thing, the second year I went back to school, my grandmother sat me down. She said, Tushuit Kutalo. She called me that's her pet name for me. She said, one thing, you're going to be learning lots of things in school. I don't know what they're going to be teaching you, but I know you're going to be learning a lot of different things. But what I don't want you to do is use the language because you're going to lose yourself. And that, at that time I was wondering what she meant by losing myself. And today I realize that's the way it is. If I lost my language then, I would never know the feeling of being who I am, not to know who I am. Like, today I really feel as if I know who I am because of that, because I never lost my language. I try to keep my tradition and culture as much as I could too, but my language is really strong in me, like I said about how I want my grandparents to stay living with me, because they were my, I don't know, just special people to me.
Yes.
And they're still my special people today. Inuvialuit is the one because I was with him more than I was with Alice and Simon and Naktok. But they're still meant a lot to me, my grandparents. And my parents, of course, my relatives.
Right on.
I think a lot of things changed today. You wanted to hear a little more about how things changed today. The biggest change that I saw in my growing up years, like as I got older and my grandfather passed away and those elders all gone. When we lived in Kendall Island in the summertime, we all lived together in Kendall Island. That's the main post that we all had. Everybody lived in Kendall Island. Everybody had a tent all the way from the point, all the way back to pass around old Dennis and Nachtok's old house. We used to all live together. And that baby island, they call it now, we couldn't even, the boys, young boys, they used to like to swim and everything. But everything, you had to be really quiet till they could start getting whales. Like, they wouldn't let you throw rocks in the ocean or let you swim around in the water. They wouldn't let you swim because they say you're going to disturb the whales. That was another way of surviving. That's the way they planned it, their survival. And plus, you couldn't even get wood from anywhere on the other islands. And nobody lived outside of Kendall Island. Everybody lived together. And when they got enough whales, I remember they used to go Leonard and Joseph and the other, I don't know who's the other boys, but they would go across to Egg Island, And they would bring all those geese that couldn't fly. They owe them, you know. They bring them in where all the ladies are at. Where the ladies and a lot of kids would be around the beach or over where they're cutting up whales or cooking them by then. And they would bring them across. I remember one time they did that. Oh, we had fun. Everybody was running around killing the geese. And as soon as we had enough geese, they would pluck them and get them all ready to cook. And it was so much fun those days. I remember that time it was, you know, mothers and with babies on their backs still running and trying to catch those geese. We had a lot of geese that summer.
That was at Ukivik. Huh?
That was at Ukivik. Yeah. And today, we're all over. People are living in Baby Island, that's across Ukivik. People down here at Kalukbik Harbor. And us, we're way over here at Sanmekak. And people are over at Gerry Island. And those things I never saw when I was a little girl. Growing up as a little girl, I never saw that happen. And today, that's a big change that happened. Although we still try to help each other get well, you know, one camp get well and help one another get whale for help the people that can't get the whale or, you know, different things. But it's not like long ago. That's really changed a lot.
Yeah, a long time ago.
We had one chief.
A long time ago, everything was all in one little community. Now the communities are starting to spread out just a little bit.
And today it's just like, it's not a big must that we have that whale. You know, we don't, it's not a big must, not like long ago, because you had to feed your dogs. You had to think of your dogs and all the survival for the winter. You had to have okhrok, and if you didn't finish your maktek, then you still had your okhrok to live with for the rest of the year. But today we still go down because that's our, you know, something pulling us down. We can't.
Something that we've been doing ever since we were very small, and we continue to do it today, even though it's changed quite a bit. We still try to hold on to some of our traditions, you know, and I think that to be able to still have some people down there that are elders and that help the kids, I think it's awesome. And even when they have that program in the school. That summer program with the kids, they go up they stay at a camp. One of those camps is somewhere. They do it on the west side. They do it around Kennel Island area, and I think they do it over at Whitefish over here too, towards Tuck. And they take the kids out there so they could see them. You know, hunting beluga and working with processing that beluga well. Awesome.
That's to encourage them to keep on.
Encourage and show the kids how life used to be. Because life is, nowadays, we don't cut that log on that. And how's the wood now compared to when you were a kid growing up down there? Lots of wood?
Lots of wood.
Then or now?
Then. I mean today. Today there's lots of wood. Lots of wood down there now. At Sanmekak, we don't have to go out to go try to get some wood. It's always there, lots of wood there all the time. And our ground is going away. Sanmekak, that big
bluff.
That big bluff, climate change, that it's just like a big bulldozer went in and just took all this land out from all that climate change.
Climate change, that even when I was growing up and when I saw some of that land down there, it was all looked pretty solid. Even when I was a young boy.
Yes.
What I could remember, and then now there's lots of change from when you started going to Okivik and until what you see today in the land. How much change?
It's lots of change, especially that in those days I never believed that things like this would happen. I never dreamt that, something like this would happen to my land, like, to where I live. But now you could see.
No, you could see.
And the weather, it's never the same.
Yeah.
The weather is sometimes...
You mentioned earlier on you used to travel to Oklavik at 40 below and 50 below with the dog team for Christmas time. Today we're sitting at minus 18 or something this morning. We're just about at the end of November. Times have changed and the weather has changed a lot. Some people call it climate change, some people call it global warming. Yeah, just another change, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah.
You can't even predict the weather today. Really hard to predict it. Long ago they used to just know what it's going to be like tomorrow. Just going outside and checking it out. They know it's going to be windy or it's going to be nice. Tomorrow's going to be nice. Get ready because you're all night is moonlights and stars are bright.
And those days of traveling with a dog team in the moonlight. Wow. I still remember that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Watch the stars.
Yeah.
And what do we call that northern lights? Kioya?
Yeah, Kioya. Kioya.
Kioya. Northern lights, yeah. We used to watch them dance up there.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I think that's where we learned how to whistle at girls, I think. They say if you whistle at the northern lights, going to cut your head off. Yeah. Kuinaini.
Amini. Galilik.
Kuinaini.
Wobbly camera.
Okay. Yeah. Kuinaini.
Amini.